This is version A for Decision 2017. So it's using the datasheet for building a rockery. As you can see here, this is an alphabetical order. However, by the time it gets into a question, it'll be written in the order you need to do the tasks. First off, these will be done in approximately this order, in as much as you won't be asked to do something lower down before you do something higher up. The precedence, or the immediate predecessor, is what you have to wait for. So in order to bring the topsoil onto site, you need to have ordered the topsoil, and from my point of view, you need to have removed the grass from that area, because otherwise it'll die underneath the topsoil. So these durations tell you how long something's going to take. People will normally do the whole of A, B and C actually in a single diagram. So for an activity network for the work involved, just from a practical point of view, trying to keep this fairly neat. First off, we've got A, and that doesn't take anything before it. Then looking at B, we are removing the grass, and that doesn't have anything that happens first. Then C, we are ordering our topsoil, doesn't have anything that happens first. Then we get to D. Now D has to wait for both B and C. So if we put D over here, and this is going to wait for these two. E has to wait for C, but doesn't have to wait for anything else. So E is only going to have to come outside of C. F, fitting a pond base, has to wait for E. G is going to have to wait for both A and E. So if we put that up there somewhere, so it's still going in the right direction, we're not going back on ourselves. H, filling the pond with water, is going to come after F. And then I is going to come after both D and G. And that's all we actually need to do to finish. So we are going to have to end. So if we start off, then we've constructed our activity network, so that's our first 3 marks. Earliest start times for each activity. What we're looking at doing here is finding out what is effectively going in the first box each time. So just before we do that, A is going to take 0.5 to do. B has a duration of 3. C has a duration of 0.5. D has a duration of 1. E has a duration of 5. F is going to have a duration of 2. Then G has a duration of 1 and H is at 2 and I is at 1. And we're now in a position that we can actually start filling this in. So if we think about when things can start, first off, if we look at A first, A can start at 0, nothing happens first, nothing happens first, nothing happens first. D has to wait for both B and C to finish. So B starts at 0, takes 3, so we'll finish at 3. C starts at 0, finishes after half an hour. So if you're waiting for something for 3 hours and for something for half an hour, you're going to be waiting for the one that takes 3 hours to finish, as that will finish more slowly. E is just waiting for the 0.5. F, E starts at 0.5 and takes 5, so that's going to finish at 5.5. H is going to finish at 7.5. So again, E, 0.5 and 5 is going to finish at 5.5, and that's far slower than this at just half an hour.